Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Wednesday, April 5th, 2023. I am Dave Biddle. Our special guest is Scotty Vegas. We are co-hosts of On the Money on 97.1 The Fan here in Columbus. We do a sports gambling show. This is our fourth year of doing our Sunday show from 9 to 11 a.m. every Sunday. And despite our best efforts to derail the show every Sunday, they keep giving us more shows. Now we do a show Wednesday evening from 8 to 9. We started that in January, so we'll have a show tonight. Scotty Vegas, great to see you, my friend. Thank you for joining me.
Oh, absolutely, Dave. And you know what? The sports betting numbers in Ohio have just been ridiculous. What a shock. People in Ohio like to bet on sports. And you and I like to bet on sports and talk about betting on sports. So good to be with you, Dave.
We definitely do. I like it. I do. I'm starting to love it. You're next level. You're elite. You're elite. You're the 5-star when it comes to sports betting. So there's a lot to get into. We're not just going to talk sports betting on today's show. We are going to talk sports betting. Heavy Ohio State angle, of course, with this being the Bucknuts Morning 5. And we're just going to talk some football in general with how we feel about the 2023 Buckeyes. We'll finish the show with some quick takes on Ohio State basketball. We'll look at the odds to win the national championship next year are already out for basketball, even though we're 2 days removed from college basketball ending. And we'll get Scotty's thoughts. Is this a make or break year for Chris Holtmann? But let's start with, I love this. I used to call these the Vegas rankings. I always thought these was the best rankings to look at. I don't know. Is that always going to be in our lexicon when we talk about, Vegas has them favored? It's like now it's like Ohio has them favored, But
that's right.
It's going to be one of those things that's going to be tough to take out of our lexicon. But let's look at the odds to win the college football national championship in 2023. Georgia is the favorite at plus 250. For those that don't know, I'm sure most do. For those that don't know, if you're new to betting, plus 250 means, if you lay 100 on Georgia to win it all and they win it, then you win $250. All right. So then it goes to Alabama at 4-1. So if you lay 100 on Bama to win it all and they win it all, you win 400. Number 3, the Ohio State Buckeyes have the third best odds, 7-1. So if you bet on the Buckeyes to win it all, you put a Benjamin on it, then you get $700. All right, I'm done, with the betting 101. I'm going to go quickly here and get your thoughts on this. USC is next, 4th, 8-1. Clemson 5th, 10-1. Michigan 6th, 12-1. LSU, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll hear a few notable ones. LSU 7th, 18-1. Penn State has tied for the 8th best odds at 20-1, along with Florida State. Notre Dame and Texas are tied for 10th, 25-1. Tennessee 35-1 at 12th, and skipping ahead, Wisconsin 16th best odds, 75-1. That means Ohio State's going to be playing 4 of the top 16 opponents in the country during their regular season schedule. What do you make of Ohio State having the third best odds? What value do you like? Do you like the value there at 7-1 for the Buckeyes?
So here's the funny thing, Dave. We just got done with March Madness, where it's all about Cinderellas, and we saw UConn, who was 16-1 at the beginning of the tournament, make a run and win a national championship. Well, this is nothing like college basketball, right? To me, you're not going anywhere past the top 3 teams when you're betting a college football national championship. And it's evidence, Dave, the last 8 years, the last 7 national champions had single-digit odds heading into the season. That's the last 7. I mean, you look at this last year, Georgia wins it all. They were plus 350 at the start of the year. In 2021, they were 6-1 to win it all. In 2020, Bama was 3-1. In 2018, Clemson was 4-1. And then 17, you had Bama plus 250. The last long shot really to win it all was Ohio State in 2014. That's the last time you had a team that had double-digit odds going into the season that actually won anything. So it's not like college basketball where we're looking down the board and we're trying to find that Cinderella story for this year. I know TCU made it to a championship game this year, and they would have been a Cinderella story. But we saw what they did in that championship game, and it wasn't good, right? So to me, Dave, we're only looking at those top 3, Georgia, Alabama, and Ohio State. And look, if you look at Georgia's schedule, it's almost a lock they're going to be in the playoffs. It would be an absolute shock. I think the value, and look, I know Ohio State at 7-1 is they've got a little bit of a tougher schedule with going to Michigan this year, but I still like the value on Ohio State, even as maybe a potential homer pick. But if you get to the playoffs at 7-1, that gives you hedge money, Dave.
Yeah, for those that can't tell, now not everybody, everybody in our live audience can see. Obviously, some people are going to be just listening to the podcast, the audio only version. But as our live audience can see, Scotty is a Buckeye fan. Shocking, like look at the backdrop here. So yeah, not that we're the most unbiased people in the world. I like the value there too at 7-1 for Ohio State. It's interesting. Michigan's down at 12-1. I think probably Michigan fans might look at that and be like, how's Ohio State not only ahead of us, but 3 spots ahead of us? And they're 7-1 and we're 12-1. Well, go if you're a Michigan fan, go ahead and waste your money on Michigan winning the national championship because they're not going to do it. All right, let's look at this 2023 Ohio State team in general. We're in the midst of spring ball, which I know you love, but I'll be over there right after I get done with the show. We're going to have running backs and tight ends today, so that'll be fun over there. But what when you look at this 2023 team, third best odds to win the national championship. What do you really like, and what do you have a major concern or concerns when you look at this team, Scotty?
I mean, the love is the offense, right? I mean, there's not a lot of holes. I know the one question mark coming into the season as far as the offense goes is the offensive line. But I am telling you, I think that this team isn't completely set yet. All right, once the spring ends, I guarantee you that Ohio State is going to be very active in the transfer portal. I know for a fact that they're going to be going after some guys in the next month to solidify this team. And I think offensive line is probably still going to be their number one target to improve for through the portal. I think that's going to happen. I think that's going to be the story over the next month. You're going to see guys hopping into the portal, and OSU is going to be active. And then as far as defense goes, I know the concern is the defensive backs. It has been. It's why I think that they didn't win the national championship last year is the struggles that they had with the defensive backs. But overall, I think this is a fantastic looking team. The offense 7-1, I think it's good value. But Dave, if you were to look, a lot of these betting sites have future game odds already. Ohio State is already a 10-point favorite over Notre Dame in the look ahead lines. They're a 9.5-point favorite over Penn State. They're also a significant favorite over Michigan State. They're a 3-touchdown favorite over them. And then the other game, obviously, the Michigan game, they're a 1-point underdog right now against Michigan, which kind of makes those future odds a little interesting that Ohio State would be 7-1, Michigan 12-1. But, I feel pretty confident that Ohio State is going to make an improvement this spring through the portal. And I think that 7-1 right now is good value.
I want to talk Heisman odds for the Buckeyes in 2024 or 2023, specifically Kyle McCord. I know you've mentioned this on our show. And Marvin Harrison Jr., I know he's a wide receiver. It's tough to win, but if anybody could do it, maybe it's Marv. I don't know if you have those in front of you, but you've brought him up many times.
Oh, yeah.
You like any of the value there with McCord or Marvin or anybody else on the Buckeyes to win the Heisman this year?
Dave, I always have every odds always in front of me at every moment. But no, so you and I were talking, I think it was 2 weeks ago on our show that Kyle McCord, I look at you and I'm like, Dave, an Ohio State quarterback is 30-1 right now in the Heisman odds. That's ridiculous. And we think that Kyle McCord is probably going to be the starting quarterback. That obviously won't be announced for a while. But at 30-1, that was ridiculous. Now, the odds have actually since come down a little bit. He's now 20-1, which I still like as good value. Ohio State quarterback at 20-1. Now, the other guys, Travion Henderson is actually 47-1 to win the Heisman. And then Marvin Harrison is 50-1 to win the Heisman. That's right now. So those are your 3 Buckeyes with a chance. But that Kyle McCord number at 20, Dave, sign me up for that.
NFL draft later this month. I cannot wait. I absolutely love it. As you know, anybody who listens to the Bucknuts podcast knows I'm a huge NFL draft fan. It's, college football and, NFL, the fusion of those two of my favorite things in the world coming together. And then the drama. I absolutely love it. And we looked at it. So entering the NFL Combine, Bryce Young was the favorite to go number 1 overall. And C.J. Stroud, the odds were plus 350. So if you laid a Benjamin on C.J. Stroud to go number 1 overall in the NFL draft, yes, people, you can bet on the NFL draft. It's awesome. But if you laid 100 on C.J. Stroud to win or to be the first pick, you would want $350 if that materializes. You can't get those odds anymore. Now C.J. Stroud is the overwhelming favorite to go number 1. So the Buckeyes, Scotty, go through this a little bit. So the Buckeyes have the favorite to be the number 1 overall pick in CJ Stroud, the number 1 offensive lineman off the board in Paris Johnson Jr., and the number 1 receiver off the board in Jackson Smith-Njigba, according to Vegas or according to Hollywood Casino in Columbus.
Yeah, you know what, Dave? It's the old, if you snooze, you lose. And that was kind of the case with CJ Stroud. As you mentioned, you were the one who a month ago was like, Scott, I really think he's going to be the number 1 pick. Once we get to the combine, the measurables, CJ Stroud's going to be the number 1 guy. And you were absolutely right. These odds are showing that it looks like CJ Stroud is going to trend and be the number 1 pick. At minus 350, that's a significant number right there. Just to give people an example as far as the odds go, UConn was about minus 350 to win the national championship game on Monday night against San Diego State. And they were about a 7-point favorite. So that's almost like saying CJ Stroud is like a 7-point favorite over Bryce Young to be the number 1 pick. That's how significantly now the odds are showing that it's likely going to be CJ at 1. And you're right. So again, snooze, you lose, because Jackson Smith-Njigba at about a month ago was not the favorite to be the top wide receiver taken. Now he's a significant favorite to be the top wide receiver off the board. And then Paris, the same thing. So he is also favored to be the top offensive lineman off the board. And we think he's probably going to be a top 10 pick.
No doubt about it. All right. It's just been crazy in Ohio. We knew sports gambling would go over very well here. We knew. They're like, it's just crazy. I don't know if we're still number 1 in the entire country as far as people making sports bets. And here's what's really wild. We have not gone through a college football season where sports betting is legal in Ohio. We got maybe a sliver of the NFL, about a month and a half, including the Super Bowl. That's a good time to have it, the Super Bowl and the playoffs. My point is, this is a football crazed state, and this is going to be the first time college football is going to be able to bet on, legally in the Buckeye State. What do you anticipate? It's already off the chain. Like, it's just going to get crazier this fall. I'm here for it.
That's exactly right. It is. It's just going to be crazy. And you and I have talked about how a college football Saturday is just unbelievable to bet on, because you've got games starting at noon. You also have Pac-12 West Coast games starting at 10 o'clock at night. So you're building from noon till about 1, 2 in the morning. I can't tell you, Dave, how many times I texted you this last season at 1 in the morning, like, okay, this Oregon parlay's coming through, or Boise State, it's going to happen. It's just a full day. It's like 14 straight hours of sports betting when you're betting on college football, and it is great. And you're right, as far as Ohio goes, the month of January, Ohio was number 2 across all of the legalized sports betting states, right behind New York for most handle placed in the month.
Oh, they did pass us? Because for a while we were number 1. That small state of New York finally passed us. Okay.
They have a decent number of people there, but New York was number 1. And you know what, I'll tell you, in February, the February numbers just came out, and Ohio was still a top 4 state as far as sports betting. So, and that's without football. You had the Super Bowl included in February, but that doesn't include any college football. The college football playoff was all in January. So it's just going to get bigger and better, honestly, in as far as football gambling in Ohio.
All right, let's see. I got to get to Ohio State, but we're not stopping the show yet. But I do want to talk some Ohio State basketball. All right, the 2023-24 national championship odds have been released. I was surprised to see Kentucky is the favorite, 11-1. Duke next at 12-1, then win the national championship. Purdue 12-1. UConn to repeat, 14-1, skipping way ahead. Ohio State, the 31st best odds to win the national championship in men's basketball, 55-1. If I'm betting on an Ohio State basketball team to win it all, it's the women. Of course, Caitlin Clark's coming back to Iowa, so maybe not. But I like this Ohio State women's basketball team a lot. But 55-1 for the Buckeyes to win it all. We don't need to get too deep into that. But what do you expect from this Buckeye team next year? Is this a make or break year for Chris Holtmann in your estimation?
Of course it is. You can't come off a season like OSU just had and not say that this is a make or break year. This was beyond frustrating run that Ohio State hoops was on this year. Basically from the beginning of January till the beginning of March, they lost like 15 out of 16 games. I mean, it was unbelievably disappointing. But the one great thing was the end of the season, right? And there was a lot of excitement about the run that they went on. Even the last few games of the regular season, Ohio State hoops took a jump forward, and that was great to see. And look, I love the core three, the young guys, Thornton, Gale, and Okpara going forward. You got three studs coming back that'll be sophomores. You'll have a full off season to get those guys in order. And as far as this team coming in, they've got a great recruiting class to join them. So I think there's a lot of excitement for OSU hoops. 55-1. That's not something that you would want to touch right now. But this is a team that I believe will get back into the tournament. I think they have a great chance to be a top 15, top 16, maybe a Sweet 16 team next season. But it's been frustrating. And to answer the initial question, yes, it's make or break for Chris Holtmann.
No doubt about it. All right. So great to have Scotty Vegas on the show. Join us tonight on The Money, 8 to 9 p.m., 97.1 The Fan. You can listen live online, free streaming, 971thefan.com. We also come at you every Sunday from 9 to 11 a.m. So, Scotty, great having you on the show, man.
Thanks.
Your debut. Thank you for your insights, my friend.
Oh, so much fun. And I got Masters bets to give out tonight, Dave, so people should tune in.
Masters bets. Oh, you're a kid in a candy store, man.
Oh, baby.
Oh, it's teeing off tomorrow. Whoa, baby. Scott loves him some golf betting. Now, Scott likes sports betting, period. But you love some golf betting. So you're really, really good. One story here. This encapsulates just how great Scott is at golf betting. So he was on this this app, we'll call it an offshore site. And he was so good at live golf betting that they cut him off. He's the guy that goes in and he's so good at like poker. They say, you can't play poker anymore in the casino. You're too good at it. We know you're not cheating, but you're just too good at it. So we're cutting you off. Like I want to get to the point where I'm that good at sports betting where they're like, you're not allowed to bet on X anymore because you're too damn good at it and you're winning too much money. Now, the day, as you and I have joked about, it's not really a joke. The day a sports book cuts somebody off because they're losing too much money is a day that'll never happen. But
never.
You are a savant, my friend. All right, I'll get you out of here. Thank you for your time. He is Scotty Vegas. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thanks, Dave.
All right, and thanks to all of you for tuning into the show. We appreciate that very much. Hope everyone has a great day.